Now say, Chatillon, what would France with us?
Thus, after greeting, speaks the King of France in my behavior to the Majesty, the borrowed Majesty of England here.
A strange beginning, borrowed Majesty.
Silence, good mother. Hear the embassy.
Philip of France, in right and true behalf of thy deceased brother Geoffrey's son, Arthur Plantagenet, lays most lawful claim to this fair island and the territories, to Ireland, Poitiers, and your to reign made, desiring thee to lay aside the sword, which sways usurpingly these several titles, and put the same in young Arthur's hand, thy nephew, and right royal sovereign.
What follows if we disallow of this?
The proud control of fierce and bloody war, to enforce these rights so forcibly withheld.
Here have we war for war and blood for blood, controlment for controlment, so answer France.
Then take my king's defiance from my mouth, the furthest limits of my embassy.
Bear mind to him and so depart in peace. Be thou as lightning in the eyes of France, for ere thou canst report, I will be there. The thunder of my cannon shall be heard, so hence, be thou the trumpet of our wrath, and sullen presage of your own decay. Farewell, Chatillon.
What now, my son? Have I not ever said how that ambitious Constance would not cease till she had kindled France and all the world upon the right and piety of her son? This might have been made whole with very easy arguments of love, which now by manage of 2 kingdoms must with feeble bloody issue arbitrate.
Our strong possession and our right for us.
Your strong possession much more than your right, or else it must go wrong with you and me. So much my conscience whispers in your ear, which none but heaven and you and I shall hear.
My liege, here is the strangest controversy, come from the country to be judged by you, that ere I heard. Shall I produce the men?
Let them approach. What men are you?
Your faithful subject, I, a gentleman, born in Northamptonshire, and eldest son, as I suppose, Robert Falconbridge, a soldier by the honour-giving hand of Coeur de Lion, Richard I, your brother, knighted in the field.
What art thou?
The son and heir to that same Falconbridge.
Is that the elder, and art thou the heir? You came not of one mother then, it seems.
Most certain of one mother, mighty king, that is well known, and as I think, one father. But for the certain knowledge of that truth, I put you away to heaven and to my mother, all that I doubt, as all men's children may.
Out on thee, rude man! Thou dost shame thy mother and wound her honour with this diffidence.
I, madam? No, I have no reason for it. That is my brother's plea and none of mine. The which, if he can prove, pops me out at least from fair £500 a year. Heaven guard my mother's honour in my hand.
A good blunt fellow. Why, being younger born, doth he lay claim to thine inheritance?
I know not why except to get the land. But once he slated me with bastardy. But where I be as true begot or no, that still I lay upon my mother's head. But that I am as well begot, my liege. A fair full the bones that took the pains for me. Compare our faces, and be judge yourself, if old Sir Robert did beget us both, and were our father, and this unlike him. Oh, old Sir Robert, father, on my knee, I give heaven thanks I was not like to thee.
Why, what a madcap hath heaven lent us here.
He had the trick of Coeur de Lion's face. The accent of his tongue affected him. Do you not read some tokens of my son in large composition of this man?
Mine eye hath well examined his parts. And finds them perfect riches. Sirrah, speak. What doth move you to claim your brother's land?
Because he hath a half face like my father, and with half that face would he have all my land. A half face groat, £500 a year.
My gracious liege, when that my father lived, your brother did employ my father much.
Well, sir, by this you cannot get my land. Your tale must be how he employed my mother.
Sirrah, your brother is legitimate. Your father's wife did after wedlock bear him, and if she did play false, the fault was hers. Which fault lies on the hazards of all husbands that marry wives.
Whetherest thou rather be a Falconbridge, and like thy brother enjoy thy land, or the reputed son of Coeur de Lion, lord of thy presence, and no man beside.
Madam, and if my brother had my shape, and I had his, and Sir Robert's his like him, and if my legs were two such riding rods, my arms such eel skin stuffed, my face so thin, that in my ear I durst not stick a rose, lest men should say, look where 3 farthings goes. And to his shape were heir to all this land, but I might never stir from off this place. I would give it every foot to have this face. I would not be so noble in any case.
I like thee well. Would thou forsake thy fortune, bequeath thy land to him and follow me? I am now a soldier and bound to France.
Brother, take you my land. I'll take my chance. Your face hath got £500 a year, yet sell your face for 5 pence, and 'tis dear. Madam, I'll follow you unto the death.
Nay, I would have you go before me thither.
Our country manners give our betters way.
What is thy name?
Philip, my liege. So is my name begun, Philip. Good old Sir Robert's wife's eldest son.
From henceforth bear his name whose form thou bearest. Kneel thou down, Philip, but rise more great. Arise, Sir Richard and Plantagenet.
Brother by the mother's side, give me your hand. My father gave me honor, yours gave land. Now blessed be the hour by night or day when I was gone, Sir Robert was away.
Oh, the very spirit of Plantagenet. I am thy grandam, Richard. Call me so.
Madam, by chance but not by truth, what though? Something about a little from the right, in at the window or else o'er the hatch. Whoever dares not stir by day must walk by night, and have is have, however men do catch. Near or far off, well one is still well shot, and I lie, however I was begot.
Go, Falconbridge, now hast thou thy desire. A landless knight makes thee a landed squire. Come, madam, and come, Richard, we must speed. For France, for it is more than need.
Sweet, sweet, sweet poison for the ages tooth, which though I will not practice to deceive, yet to avoid deceit I mean to learn. For just through the footsteps of my rising.
Peace be to France, if France in peace permits our just and lineal entrance to our own. If not, bleed France, and peace ascend to heaven, whilst we, God's wrathful agents, do correct their proud contempt that beats his peace to heaven.
Peace be to England. If that's war returned from France to England, there to live in peace. England we love, and for that England's sake, with burden of our armor, here we sweat. This toil of ours should be a work of thine, but thou from loving England art so far that thou hast, under us his lawful king, cut off the sacred to posterity, and faced in infant state have done a rape upon the maiden virgin of the crown. Look upon thy brother Geoffrey's face. These eyes, these brows were molded by his. This little abstract doth contain large which died in Geoffrey, and the hand of time shall draw such a brief into a huge volume that Geoffrey was thy other brother born, and this his son. England is Geoffrey's rights. It is Geoffrey's in the name of God. How comes it then that thou art called a king, when living blood dost in these temples beat, which all the crown thou, our masteress?
From whom hast thou this great commission, France? To draw an answer from thine articles?
King John, this is the very sum of all. England and Ireland, a jure to my name, in right of Arthur do I claim of thee, wilt thou resign them and lay down thy arms?
My life as soon I do defy thee, France, Arthur of Bretagne. Yield thee to my hand, and out of my dear love I'll give thee more than e'er the coward hand of France can win. Submit thee, boy.
Come to thy grandam, child.
Do, child. Go to grandam, child. Give grandam kingdom, and grandam will give it a cherry, a plum, and a fig. There's a good
Good my mother peace. I would that I were low laid in my grave. I am not worth this coil that's made for me.
Oh, his mother shames him so. Poor boy, he weeps.
Now shame on you whether she does or no. I, with these crystal tears, heaven shall be bribed to do him justice and revenge on you.
Thou monstrous slanderer of heaven and earth!
Thou monstrous injurer of heaven and earth, call me not slanderer. Thou and thine usurp the denomination's royalties and rights of this poor oppressed boy. This is thy eldest son's son, infortunate in nothing but in thee. Removed from thy sin-conceiving womb.
Bedlam have done.
I have but this to say. God hath made her sin, and her the plague, or punished in the person of this poor child.
Thou unadvised scold. I can produce a will that bars the title of thy son.
Aye, who doubts that? A will, a woman's will, a wicked will, a cankered gandam's will.
Peace, lady. Pause, or be more temperate. It ill beseems the presence to cry aims in these ill-tuned repetitions. Some trumpets summon hither to the wall these men of Angers. Let us hear them speak whose title they admit. Arthurs or giants.
Ugh.
Who is it that hath warned us to the walls?
'Tis France for England.
England for itself. You men of Angiers and my loving subjects.
You loving men of Angers, Arthur's subjects. Our trumpets have called you to this gentle part.
For our advantage, therefore, hear us first. These flags of France that are advanced here before the eye and prospect of your town have hither marched toward your endamagement. The cannons have their bows full of wrath, and ready mounted are they to spit forth their iron indignation against your walls. All preparation for a bloody siege. And merciless proceedings of these French confronts your city's eyes, your winking gates. Behold the French, amazed, vouchsafe a pile, and now instead of bullets trapped in fire, to make a shaking fever in your walls, they shoot but calm words, folded up in smoke.
You men of Angers, open wide your gates and let young Arthur, Duke of Bretagne, in, who by the hand of France this day have made much work for tears in many an English mother, whose sons lie scattered on the bleeding ground, many a widow's husband grovelling lies, coldly embracing the discoloured earth, and victory with little loss doth play upon the dancing banners of the French, who are at hand, triumphantly displayed, to enter conquerors and to proclaim Arthur of Bretagne, England's king and yours.
By heaven, these scroils of Angiers flout you, kings, and stand securely in their battlements, as in a theatre, whence they gape and point at your industrious scenes and acts of death. Your royal presence has been ruled by me, to like the mutines of Jerusalem. Be friends a while, and both conjointly bend your sharpest deeds of malice on this town. By east and west, let France and England mount the veteran cannon, charge it to the mouths, till their soul-fearing clamours abroad down the flinty ribs of this contemptuous city. I'd play incessantly upon these jades, even till offensive desolation leave them as naked as the vulgar.
Now, by the sky that hangs above our heads, I like it well. France, shall we knit our powers, and lay these Angiers even with the ground? Then after fight you shall be king of it.
Hear us, great kings. Vouchsafe a while to stay, and I will show you peace and fair-faced league. Win you this city without stroke or wound. Rescue those breathing lives to die in beds, that here come sacrifices for the fields. Do not attack, but hear me, mighty kings.
Speak on with favour, we are bent to hear.
That daughter there of Spain, the Lady Blanche, is niece to England. Look upon the ears of Louis the Dauphin and that lovely maid. If lusty love should go in quest of beauty, where should he find it fairer than in Blanche? If zealous love should go in search of virtue, where should he find it purer than in Blanche? If love ambitious sought a match of birth, whose veins bound richer blood than the Lady Blanche? Such as she is, in beauty, virtue, Birth. Is the young Dauphin every way complete? If not complete of, say he is not she, and she again wants nothing, to name wants. If wanted be not that she is not he is the half part of a blessed man, left to be finished by such as she, and she, a fair divided excellence whose fullness of perfection lies in him. Why not answer the double majesties this friendly treaty of our threatened town?
Speak, England first, that hast been forward to speak unto this city first. What say you?
If that the Dauphin, there thy princely son, can in this book of beauty read I love, her dowry shall weigh equal with the queen, for Anjou and fair Tourmaine, Maine, Poitiers, and all us upon this side the sea, except this city now by us besieged, find liable to our crown and dignity, shall gild her bridal bed, and make her rich in titles, honours, promotions, as she in beauty, education, blood, holds hand with any princess of the world.
What say'st thou, boy? Look in the lady's face.
I do, my lord. And in her eye I find a wonder, or a wondrous miracle. The shadow of myself formed in her eye, which being but the shadow of your son, becomes the sun and makes your son a shadow. I do protest I never loved myself, till now in fixed I beheld myself, drawn in the flattering table of her eye.
Drawn in the flattering table of her eye, hanged in the frowning wrinkle of her brow, and quartered in her heart, he doth espy himself love's traitor. This is pity now, that hanged and drawn and quartered there should be in such a love so vile a lout as he.
My uncle's will in this respect is mine. If he see aught in you that makes him like, that anything he sees which proves his liking, I can with ease translate it to my will. Or, if you will, to speak more properly, I will enforce it easily to my love. Further, I will not flatter you, my lord, that all I see in you is worthy love. But this, that nothing do I see in you, though churlish thoughts themselves should be your judge, that I can find should merit any hate.
What say these young ones? What say you, my niece?
That she is bound in honor still to do what you in wisdom still vouchsafe to say.
Speak then, Prince Dauphin, can you love this lady?
Nay, ask me if I can refrain from love. I do love her most unfeignedly.
Oh, we will heal up all, for we'll create young Arthur, Duke of Bretagne, and Earl of Richmond, and this rich fair town we make him lord of. Call the Lady Constance. Some speedy messenger bid her repair to our solemnity. I trust we shall. If not, fill up the measure of her will, yet in some measure satisfy her so, that we shall stop her exclamation. Go we, as well as haste will suffer us, to this unprepared, unlooked for pomp.
Mad world, mad kings, mad composition! John, to stop Arthur's title to the whole kingdom, hath willingly departed with a part, and France, whose armor conscience buckled on, whom zeal and charity brought to the field as God's own soldier, rounded in the ear with that same purpose changer, that sly devil John, that broker that still breaks the paint of faith, that daily break down, he that wins of all, of kings, of beggars, old men, young men, maids, with having no external thing to lose but the word maid, chase the poor maid of that. John, the smooth-faced gentleman, tickling commodity, the bias of the world who of itself is painted well, made to run even upon even ground, till this advantage, this vile drawing bias, this sway of motion, this commodity, makes it take head from all indifferency, from all direction, purpose, course, intent, and this same bias, this commodity, this bore, this broker, this all-changing word, clapped on the outward eye of fickle France, hath drawn him from his own determined aim, from a resolved and honourable war to a most base and vile concluded peace. And why rail I on this commodity? But for because he hath not wooed me yet, Not that I have the power to clutch my head, when his fair angels would salute my palm before my hand, as unattempted yet, like a poor beggar raileth on the rich. Well, whiles I am a beggar, I will rail and say there is no sin but to be rich. And being rich, my virtue then shall be to say there is no vice but beggary, since kings break faith upon commodity. Gain be my lord, for I will worship thee.
Gone to be married, gone to swear a peace, false blood to false blood joined. Believe me, I do not believe thee, man. I have a king's oath to the contrary.
As true as I believe you think them false, that give you cause to prove my saying true.
Oh, if thou teach me to believe this sorrow, teach thou how to make me die.
What other harm have I, good lady, done, but spoke the harm as by others done?
I do beseech you, madam, be content.
Tell me, thou fellow, is not France forsworn? Get thee gone, and leave these woes alone.
Pardon me, madam. I may not go alone with you to the king's.
Thou mayest. Thou shalt. I will not go with thee. Here and I, sorrow, sit. Here is my throne. Bid kings come bow to it.
Tis true, fair daughter, and this blessed day, ever in France shall be kept festival. To solemnize this day, the sun stays in his course and plays the alchemist, turning with splendor from his precious eye the meager, cloddy earth to glittering gold. The yearly course that brings this day about shall never see it as a holy day.
A wicked day, and not a holy day. What hath this day done? What hath it deserved? This day, all things begun will come to ill end.
Good heaven, lady! What cause can you have to curse the fair proceedings of this day? Have I not borne to you, your majesty?
You have beguiled me with a counterfeit resembling majesty. You are forsworn! Forsworn! You came in arms to spill mine enemy's blood, but now in arms you strengthen it with yours. Arm you heavens against these perjured kings. Hear me, oh, hear me.
Peace, Lady Constance. Peace.
War, no peace. Peace to me is a war. Oh, Philip. Oh, Philip. Thou dost shame that bloody spoil. Thou slave. Thou wretch. Thou coward. Thou ever strong upon the stronger side. Thou fortune's champion that dost never fight, but when her humorous ladyship is by to teach thee safety, thou art perjured too, and soothed up greatness. What a fool art thou, a ramping fool, to swear and stamp and swear and stamp and swear upon my party! Hast thou not spoke like thunder on thy side, been sworn my soldier, bidding me depend upon thy stars, thy fortune, and thy strength, and now dost now fall over to my foes? Thou wear a lion's hide, doff it for shame, and hang a casket on those recreant limbs.
Here comes the holy ladies of the Pope. Lord.
Hail, you anointed deputies of heaven. To thee, King John, my holy errand is, I, Pandulph of fair Milan Cardinal, and from Pope Innocent, the legate here, do in his name religiously demand why thou, against the Church, our holy mother, so willfully dost scorn and force perforce King Stephen Langton, chosen Archbishop of Canterbury. From this holy see, this in our said Holy Father's name, Pope Innocent, I do demand of thee.
What earthly lend to interrogatories can test the free breath of a sacred king? Thou canst not, Cardinal, devise a name so slight, unworthy, and ridiculous to charge me an answer as the Pope? Tell him this tale, and from the mouth of England, and thus much more, that no Italian priest
shall tithe or toll in our dominions. But as we, under heaven, are supreme head, so under him that great supremacy where we do reign, we will alone uphold, without the assistance of a mortal hand. So, shall the Pope, all reverence set apart, to him and his usurped authority.
Brother of England, you blaspheme this.
Though you and all the kings of Christendom are led so grossly by this meddling priest, dreading the curse that money may buy out, and by the merit of vile gold, dust, purchase corrupted pardon of a man, who in that sale sells pardon for himself. Though you and all the rest so grossly led this juggling witchcraft with revenue cherish, yet I alone do me oppose against the Pope, and count his friends my foes.
Then by the lawful power that I have, thou shalt stand cursed and excommunicate, and blessed shall he be that doth revolt from his allegiance to an heretic. Meritorious shall at hand be called, canonized and worshipped as a saint that takes away by any secret course thy hateful life.
Oh, lawful let it be that I have room with Rome to curse a while. Good Father Cardinal, cry thou amen to my keen curses, for without my wrong, there is no tongue hath power to curse him right.
There's law and words, lady, for my curse.
And for mine too. When law can do no right, let it be lawful that law bar no wrong. The law cannot give my child his kingdom here, for he that holds his kingdom holds the law. Therefore, if law itself is perfect wrong, how can the law forbid my tongue to curse?
Philip of France, on peril of a curse, let go the hand of that arch heretic, and raise the power of France upon his head, unless he do submit himself to Rome.
Philip, what sayest thou to the Cardinal?
What should he say but as the cardinal?
Bethink you, Father, for the difference is purchased of a heavy curse from Rome, or the light loss of England for a friend. Forgo the easier.
That's the curse of Rome.
Oh, Louis, stand fast. The devil tempts thee here in likeness of a new and trimming bride.
The Lady Constance speaks not from her faith, but from her need.
Oh, if thou grant my need, which only lives by the death of faith, that need must needs infer this principle, that faith will live again by the death of need. Tread my need down, and faith mounts up. Keep my needs up, and faith is trodden down.
The king is moved, and answers not to this.
Oh, be removed from him and answer well.
I am perplexed. I know not what to say.
What canst thou say that will perplex thee more, if thou shalt stand excommunicated and cursed?
Good Reverend Father, make my person yours, and tell me how you would bestow yourself. This royal hand in mine are nearly knit. The conjunction of our inward souls, married and leagued, coupled and linked together in all religious strength and sacred vows. The latest birth that gave the sound of words was deep sworn faith, peace, amity, truly love between our kingdoms and our royal selves. No longer than we well could wash our hands to clap this royal bargain up a peace. And even before this truce, but knew before, heaven knows they were besmeared and overstained with slaughter's pencil, where revenge did paint the fearful differences of incessant kings. Play fast and loose with faith, so just with heaven, to make such a constant children of ourselves, and now again snatch our palm from palm, and on the marriage bed of smiling peace, to march with bloody hosts, and make a riot on the gentle brow of true sincerity. Oh, Holy Sarah, my reverend Father, let it not be so. Out of your grace, devise, ordain, impose some gentle order, so that we may be blessed to do your pleasures and continue friends.
All form is formless, order orderless. Save what is obstinate to England's love, therefore to arms be the champion of our church. Or let the church, our mother, breathe her curse, a mother's curse on her revolting son. France, thou mayst hold a serpent by the tongue, a cased lion by the mortal paw, a fasting tiger safer by the tooth. Then keep in peace that hand which thou dost hold.
I may destroy my hand, but not my faith.
So makest thou faith an enemy to faith, and like a civil war settest oath to oath, thy tongue against thy tongue. Oh, let thy vow first made to heaven, first be to heaven performed. What since thou swearest is sworn against thyself, and cannot be performed by thyself. For that which thou hast sworn to do amiss is not amiss when it is truly done. And being not done where doing tends to ill, the better act of purposes mistook is to mistake again. Though indirect, yet indirection thereby grows direct, and falsehood cures as fire cools fire within the scorched veins of one you burned. It is religion that doth make our vows kept, but thou hast sworn against religion. By what thou swearest against the thing thou swearest, and makest the surety of an oath against the truth the oath. Thou art unsure to swear, swears only not to be forsworn, else what a mockery should it be to swear. But thou hast sworn only to be forsworn, and most forsworn. Therefore thy later vows against thy first is in thyself rebellion to thyself. A better conquest never canst thou make than arm thy constant in thy nobler parts against these giddy, loose suggestions. Upon which better part our prayers come in if thou vouchsafe them. But if not, then know the peril of a curse is light on thee, so heavy as thou shalt not shake them off. But in despair, die under their black weight.
Father, to arms!
Upon thy wedding day? Against the blood that thou hast married? What, shall our feast be kept with slaughtered men? Shall braying trumpets and loud churlish drums, clamours of hell, be measures to our pomp? Husband, hear me. Alack, how new is husband in my mouth, even for that name that till this time my tongue did ne'er pronounce. Upon my knee I beg, go not to arms against mine uncle.
Oh, upon my knee, made hard with kneeling, I do pray to be virtuous nor fond. Alter not the doom forethought by heaven.
Now shall I see thy love? What motive may be stronger with thee than the name of what?
That which he upholdeth, that he upholds his honour. Oh, thine honour, Lewis, thine honour.
I muse your majesty doth seem so cold when such profound respects do pull you on.
I will denounce a curse upon his head.
Thou shalt not need. England, I will fall from thee.
Oh, fair return of banished majesty.
France is a ruinous hour within this hour.
All time the clock setter, that bald sexton time. Is it as he will? Well then, France shall rule.
Ah! The sun is overcast with blood. Fair day adieu. Which is the side I must go withal? I am with both. Each army hath a hand, and in their rage they boil asunder and dismember me. Husband, I cannot pray that thou mayst win. Uncle, I needs must pray that thou mayst lose. Father, I cannot wish the fortune thine. Grandam, I may not wish thy wishes thrive. Whoever wins, on that side shall I lose. Assured lost before the matching be played.
Played with thee. Me thy fortune lies.
Therein my fortune lives, my life dies.
Cousin, to draw our puissance together. France, I am burned up with inflaming wrath. A rage whose heat hath this condition, that nothing can allay, nothing but blood, the blood and dearest valued blood of France.
Thy rage shall burn thee up, and thou shalt turn to ashes, ere our blood can quench that fire. Look to thyself, thou art in jeopardy.
No more than he that threats.
To arms!
Yes, I! Good friend! I love thee well. And by my troth, I think thou lovest me well.
So well that what you bid me undertake, so that my death were adjunct to my act, by heaven I would do
Would
it.
not I know thou wouldst, good Hubert. 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 Throw thine eye on yon young boy. I'll tell thee what, my friend. He is a very serpent in my way. And wheresoever this foot of mine doth tread, he lies before me. Dost thou understand me? Thou art his keeper.
And I'll keep him so, that he shall not offend your majesty.
Death!
My lord,
A grave.
he shall not live.
Enough. I can be merry now. Hubert, I love thee. Well, I'll not say what I intend for thee. Remember. Adam, fare thee well. I'll send those powers over to your majesty.
My blessing go with thee.
For England, cousin, go. Hubert shall be your man. Attend on you with all true duty. On to our Calais, ho! Let us meet Philip of France on the field!
So by a roaring tempest on the flat, a whole army is scattered and destroyed.
Courage and comfort. All shall yet go well.
What can go well when we have run so ill? Are we not beaten? Is not Angiers lost? Art thou taken prisoner? Divers deep French slain and bloody England unto England gone, overbearing interruption spite of France.
What he hath won, that he hath fortified. So hot a speed with such a vice disposed, such temperate order, so fierce a cause. Doth want example? Who hath read or heard of any kindred action like to this?
Well, could I bear that England had this praise, so we could find some pattern of our shame? Look who comes in, a grave unto a soul, holding the eternal spirits against her will, in the body prison of afflicted breath. I pray thee, lady, go away with me.
Lo, now see the issue of your peace.
Patience, good lady, comfort, gentle Constance.
No, I defy all counsel or redress, but that which ends all counsel, true redress.
Oh, lovely, amiable, lovely death. That odoriferous stench, sound rottenness, arise forth from the couch of lasting night. Thy hate and terror to posterity, and I will kiss thy detestable bones, and put my eyeballs in thy faulty brows, and ring these fingers with thy household words, and stop this gap of breath with fulsome dust, and be a carrion monster like thyself. Oh, grin on me, and I'll think thou smartest, and bust thee as thy wife.
Misery's love. Oh, come to me!
Oh, fair affliction. Peace.
No, no, I will not, having breath to cry. Oh, that my tongue were in the thunder's mouth, then with a passion would I shake the world and rouse from sleep that fell anatomy which cannot hear a lady's feeble voice, which scorns a modern invocation.
Lady, you are to madness and not sorrow.
Thou art not wholly to belie me so. I am not mad. This hair I tear is mine. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife. Young Arthur is my son. And he's lost. I am not mad. I would to heaven if I were. But then 'tis like I should forget myself. Oh, if I could. What Greek should I forget? Preach me some philosophy to make me mad, and thou shalt be canonized cardinal. But being not mad, but sensible of grief, my reasonable part produces reason. How I may be delivered from these woes, and teaches me to kill or hang myself. Oh. If I were mad, I should forget my son, or madly think a babe of clouts were he. I am not mad! Too well I feel the different plague of each calamity.
Bind up your tresses. For what's love I not in the fair multitude of those her hairs? Where but by chance a silver drop hath fallen, even to that drop 10,000 wiry friends do glue themselves together. In true social grief, in true inseparable, faithful lovers sticking together in calamity.
To England, if you will.
Bind up your hairs!
Yes, I will. And wherefore will I do it? I tore them from their bonds and cried aloud, oh! If these hands could so redeem my son, as they have given these hands their liberty. But now I envy at their liberty, and will again commit them to their bonds because my poor child is a prisoner. Father Cotton, I have heard you say that we shall see and know our friends in heaven. If that be true, I shall see my boy again. For since the birth of Cain, the first male child, to him that did but yesterday supplier, there has not been such a gracious creature born. But now, will canker sorrow eat my bud, and chase the native beauty from his cheek, and he will look as hollow as a ghost, as dim and meager as an ague's fit, and so will die, and rising so again when I see him in the court of heaven, I shall not move. Therefore never, never must I behold my pretty Arthur more.
Behold to Henius a respect of grief.
He talks to me that never had a son.
You are as fond of grief as of your child.
Grief fills the room of my absent child. Lies in his bed, walks up and down with me, puts on his pretty looks, repeats his words, remembers me of all his gracious parts, stuffs out his vacant garments with his form. Then should I have reason to be fond of grief? Fare you well. Had you such a loss as I could give far better comfort than you do. I will not keep this form upon my head when there is such as order in my wit.
my widow comfort, and sorrows cure.
I fear some outrage, and I'll follow her.
There's nothing in this world that can make me joy. Now that England has defeated France, life is as tedious as a twice-told tale. Mixing the dull ears of a drowsy man and bitter shame have spoiled the sweet words taste that it yields naught but shame and bitterness.
Before the curing of a strong disease, even in the instant of repaired health, the fit is strongest. Evils that take their leave, on their departure most of all show evil. What is it that you have lost by losing the battle of this day?
Old days of glory, joy, and happiness.
If you had won the battle, certainly you had. No. Now when fortune means men most good, she looks upon them with a threatening eye. 'Tis strange to think what King John hath lost in this which he can't so clearly won. Are not you grieved that Arthur is his prisoner?
As heartily as he is glad he hath him.
Your mind is all as youthful as your blood. Now hear me speak with a prophetic spirit, for even the breath of what I mean to speak shall blow each dust, each straw, each little rub, out of the path which shall directly lead with thy foot to England's throne. Therefore mark, John has seized Arthur, and it cannot be that whiles warm like the players of infant veins. The misplaced John should entertain an hour, 1 minute, nay, one quiet breath of rest. A sceptre snatched with an unruly hand must be as boisterously maintained as gained. And he that stands in safety in true blood makes nice of no vile holds to stay him up. That John may stand, then Arthur needs must fall. So be it, for it cannot be but so.
But what shall I gain from young Arthur's fall?
You and the rights of Lady Blanche, your wife, may then make all the claims that Arthur did.
And lose it, life and all,
How
as
green-
Arthur do.
How green you are, and fresh in this world. John lays you plots, the times conspire with you. For he that steeps his safety in true blood shall fight but bloody safety and untrue. This act, so evilly born, shall cool the hearts of all his people and freeze up their zeal, that none so small advantage shall step forth to check his reign, but they will cherish it. No natural exhalation in the sky, no scope of nature, no distempered winds, no customized events, but they will pluck away his natural causes and call them meteors, prodigies and signs, abortives, presages and tongues of heaven, plainly denouncing vengeance upon John.
Maybe he will not touch young Arthur's life, but hold himself safe in his imprisonment.
Oh sir, when he shall hear of your approach, if that young Arthur be not gone already, even at the news he dies, then all the hearts of all his people shall revolt from him and kiss the lips of unacquainted change, and pick strong matter of wrath and revolt out of the bloody fingers ends of John. Methinks I see this early on foot, and oh, what better matter breeds for you than I have named? The bastard Falconbridge is currently in England, ransacking the church, offending charity. If but a dozen French were there in arms, they would be as a call to train 10,000 English to their sides, or as a little snow tumbled about, and on becomes a mountain. O noble Dauphin, go with me to the king. 'Tis wonderful what may be wrought out of their discontent now that their souls are top full of offence. For England go, I will wait on the king.
Strong reasons make strange actions. Let us go. If you say aye, the king will not say no. Hate me these irons hot and wilt thou stand near the arras. When I strike my foot upon the bosom of the ground, rush forth and bind the boy which you shall find me with fast to the chair. Be heedful, hence, and watch.
I hope your warrant will bear out the deed.
Unclean scruples, fear not, you look to it. Young lad, come forth. I have to speak with you.
Good morrow, Hubert.
Good morrow, little prince.
As a little prince, having so great a title to be more prince as may be, you are sad.
Indeed, I have been merrier.
Mercy on me. Methinks nobody should be sad but I. Yet I remember, when I was in France,
young gentleman would be as sad as night, only for one Tuesday. By my Christendom, so I were out of prison and kept sheep, I should be as merry as the day is long. And yet that I am here, but I doubt my uncle practices more harm to you. He is afraid of me, and I of him. Is it my fault that I was Geoffrey's son? No, indeed it's not. And I would to heaven I were your son, so you would love me.
If I talk to him with his innocent prate, he will awake my mercy which lies dead. Therefore, I will be sudden and dispatch.
Are you sick, Hubert? You look pale today. In sooth, I would that you were a little sick, sit all night and watch with you. I warrant I love you more than you do me.
His words do take possession of my bosom. Bring here, young Arthur. How now, foolish word, taking this piteous orchard out of door. I must be brief, lest resolution drop out at mine eyes in tender womanish tears. Can you not read it? Is it not fair written?
Too foul, Hubert, for so foul effect! Must you with hot irons burn out both mine eyes?
Young boy, I must.
And will you?
And I will.
Have you the heart? When your head did not ache, I knit my handkerchief about your brows. The best I had. A princess wanted me, and I never did ask of you again. With my hand at midnight, held your head, and like the watchful minutes to the hour, still and anon, cheer up the heavy times, saying, what that? Or where lies your grief? What good love may I perform? Many a poor man's son would lean still and ne'er spoke a loving word to you. But you at your sick service had a prince. You may think my love was crafty love and call it cunning. Do and if you will. If heaven be pleased that you must use me ill, why then you must. Will you put out mine eyes? These eyes that never did nor never shall so much as frown on you.
I have sworn to do it, and with hot irons must I burn them out.
None but in this iron age would do it. The iron of itself, though heat red hot, approaching near these eyes, would drink my tears and quench this fiery indignation. Even in the matter of mine innocence. Nay, after that, consume away in rust, but for containing fire to harm mine eye. Are you more stubborn hard than hammered iron? And if an angel should have come to me and told me Hubert would put out mine eyes, I would not have believed him. No tongue but Hubert's.
Come forth. Do as I bid you!
Oh, save me, Hubert, save me! My eyes are out even with the fierce looks of these bloody men!
Give me the iron, I say, and bind him here.
Alas, what needs to be so boisterous? I will not struggle. I will stand stone still. For heaven's sake, Hubert, let me not be bound! Nay, hear me, Hubert! Drive these men away, and I will sit as quiet as a lamb. I will not stir, nor wince, nor speak a word, nor look upon the iron angrily. Thrust these men away, and I will forgive you. Whatever torment you do put me to.
Go, stand with him. Let me alone with him.
I am best pleased to be from such a deed.
Alas, I then have chid away my friend. He hath a stern look, but a gentle heart. Let him come back, that his compassion may give life to yours.
Come, boy, prepare yourself.
Is there no remedy?
None but to lose your eyes.
Heaven that there were but a mote in yours. A grain, a dust, a gnat, a wandering hair, any annoyance in that precious sense. Feel
small things are boisterous then. Your violent intent must needs so horrible.
Is this your promise? Go to hold your tongue!
Human, the utterance of a brace of tongues must needs one pleading for a pair of eyes. Let me not hold my tongue, Hubert, let me not. Or, Hubert, if you will, cut out my tongue, so I may keep my eyes. Spare mine eyes, though to no use but still to look on you. By my troth, the instrument is cold and would not harm me.
I can heat it up, boy.
No. In good sooth, the fire is dead with grief, being created for comfort, to be used in undeserved extremes. See else your son. There is no malice in this burning coal. The breath of heaven hath blown his spirit out and strewed repentant ashes on his head.
But with my breath, I can revive it, boy.
And if you do, you will but make it blush and glow with the shame of your proceedings, Hubert. Nay, if a chance will sparkle in your eyes, and like a dog that is compelled to fight, snatch at his master that doth tie him on. All things that you should use to do me wrong, deny their offers. Though you do lack that mercy, but you face fire and iron extent, creatures of note for mercy, lacking uses.
Well, see to live. I will not touch thine eye for the treasure that thou uncle owes. Yet am I sworn, and I did purpose, boy, with the same very iron to burn them out.
Oh, now you look like Hubert. All this while you were disguised.
Peace, no more, adieu. Your uncle must not know that you are dead. I'll fill these dogged spice with false reports, and, pretty child, sleep doubtless and secure that Hubert, for the wealth of all the world, will not offend thee.
Oh, heaven! I thank you, Hubert.
Silence, no more. Go closely in with me. Much danger do I undergo for thee.
Hubert, what news with you?
This is the man that have done the bloody deed. He showed his warrant to a friend of mine. The image of a wicked, heinous fault lives in his eye. That close aspect of his do show the mood of a much troubled breast. And I do fearfully believe 'tis done. What we so feared, he had a charge to do. The colour of the king to have come and go. Between his purpose and his conscience, like heralds betwixt two dreadful battles set. His passion is so ripe, it needs must break. And when it breaks, I fear will issue thence foul corruption of a sweet child's death.
We cannot hold mortality's strong hand. The Lords, although my will to give is living, the suit which you demand is gone and dead. He tells us Arthur is deceased tonight.
Indeed, we feared his sickness was past cure. Indeed, we heard how near his death he was, before the child himself felt he was sick. This must be answered either here or hence.
Why do you bend such solemn brows? Did you I bear the shears of destiny? Have I commanded on the pulse of life?
It is apparent foul play. The inheritance of this poor child, his little kingdom of a forced grave, that blood which owed the breath of all the isle, 3 foot of it doth hold, bad world the while. This must not be thus born. This will break out to all our sorrows, and ere long, I doubt.
They burn with indignation. I repent. There is no sure foundation set on blood. No certain life achieved by others' death. How fearful art thou hast. Where is that blood that I have seen inhabiting those cheeks? So foul a sky is not without a storm. Pour down thy weather. How goes all in France?
From France to England, never such a power for any foreign preparation was levied in the body of a land. Your speed is learned by them, for when you should be told they do prepare, the tidings comes that they have all arrived.
Oh! Where hath our intelligence been drunk? Where hath it slept? Where is my mother's care that such an army could be drawn in France and she not hear of it?
My lord, her ear is stopped in dust. The 1st of April died your noble mother, and as I hear, my lord, the Lady Constance in a frenzy died 3 days before. But this from rumour's tongue I idly heard. If true or false, I know not.
Withhold thy speed, dreadful occasion. Oh, make a league with me till I have pleased my discontented peers. What? Mother! Dead! How widely then walks my estate in France? Under whose conduct came forth powers for France that thou for truth gives out a land in here?
Under the Dauphin.
Thou was may be giddy with these ill tidings. The dead.
My lord, they say 5 moons were seen about tonight. 4 fixed, and the 5th did whirl about the other 4 in wondrous motion.
Why cease thou to possess me with these fears? Why urgest so oft young Arthur's death? Thy hand hath murdered him. I had a mighty cause to wish him dead, but thou hadst not to kill him.
Nor had my lord. Why did you not provoke me?
It's the curse of kings to be tended of by slaves who take their humors for a reward to break within the bloody house of life. My nobles leave me, and my state is braved. Even at my gates, with the ranks of foreign powers. And the body of this fleshly lad, this kingdom, this confine of blood and breath, hostility and civil tumult reigns between my conscience and my cousin's death.
On you against your other enemies, I'll make a peace between your soul and you. Young Arthur is alive. This hand of mine is yet a maiden and an innocent hand, not painted with the crimson spots of blood. Within this bosom never entered yet the dreadful motion of a murderous thought. And you have slandered nature in my form, which however so rude exteriorly, is yet the cover of a fairer mind than to be butcher of an innocent child.
Shall Arthur live? Or haste thee to the peers, throw this report on their insensate rage, and make them tame to their obedience. Forgive the comment my passion made upon thy feature, for my rage was blind, and foul imaginary eyes of blood presented thee more hideous than thou art. Oh, answer not, but to my closet bring the angry lords with all expedient haste.
The wall is high, and yet will I look down? Good ground be pitiful and hurt me not. There's few or none do know me. If they did, this shipboy's semblance hath disguised me quite. I am afraid, and yet I'll venture it. If I get down and do not break my limbs, I'll find 1,000 shifts to get away. As good to die and go as die and stay. Oh me! My uncle's spirit is in these stones! Heaven take my soul, and England keep my bones.
This is the prison.
Once more today well met, these tempered lords. The king by me requests your present strength.
The king have now lost our support. We will not line his thin besplendid cloak with our pure honours, nor attend the foot that leaves the prince of blood where Eric walks. Return and tell him so. We know the worst.
What dare you think? Good words, I think, were best.
Our griefs and not our manners reason now.
But there is little reason in your grief. Therefore, where's reason and manners now?
Where is he lies in? Made proud with pure and princely beauty. The earth cannot hold to hide this deed. Murder, as hating what himself hath done, doth lay it open to urge on revenge.
Or when he doomed this beauty to a grave, found it too precious princely for a grave.
So, Richard, what think you? You have beheld, or have you read, or heard, or could you think, or do you almost think, although you see that you do see? Could thought without this object form such another? This is the very top, the height, the crest, or crest unto the crest of murder's arms. This is the bloodiest shame, the wildest savagery, the vilest stroke that ever warlike wrath or stowering rage presented to the tears of soft remorse.
All murders past do stand excused from this, and this, so sole and so unmatchable, shall give a holiness, a purity, to the yet unbegotten sin of times, and prove a deadly bloodshed but a jest, exampled by this heinous spectacle.
It's a damned and bloody work, the graceless action of a heavy hand, if that it be the work of any hand.
If that it be the work of any hand. We had a kind of light what would ensue. It is but the shameful work of Hubert's hand. The practice and the purpose of the king, from whose obedience I forbid my soul kneeling before this ruin of sweet life and breathing to his breathless excellence the incense of a vow, a holy vow, never to taste the pleasures of the world, never to be infected with life.
Lords, I am hot with haste in seeking you. Arthur doth live, the king hath sent for you.
Oh, he is bold, and blushes not at death. Avaunt, thou hateful villain, get thee gone.
I am no villain.
Must I rob the law?
Your sword is bright, sir. Put it up again.
Not till I sheathe it in a murderous skin.
Stand back, Lord Salisbury. Stand back, I say. By heaven, I think my sword's as sharp as yours. I will not have you, Lord, forget yourself, nor tempt the dangers of my true defense, lest I, by marking of your range, forget your worth, your greatness, and nobility.
Out, Dunhill! Darest thou brave a nobleman?
Not for my life. Yet I dare defend my innocent life against an emperor.
Thou art a murderer!
Do not prove me so. Yes, I am none. Whose tongue soever speaks false, not truly speaks. Who speaks not truly lies.
Come to pieces!
Peace, I say!
Stand by or I shall call you Falconbridge!
Oh, thou wert better go the devil, Salisbury, if thou but frown on me, or stir thy foot to teach thy ancient thing to do me shame, I strike thee dead. Put up your sword betime, or I so mold you in your toasting iron that you shall think the devil has come from hell.
What wilt thou do, renowned Falconbridge? Second a villain and a murderer?
Lord bigot, I am none.
Who killed this prince?
It's not an hour since I left him well. I honored him. I loved him. And will weep my days of life out for his sweet life's loss.
Trust not these cunning waters of thine. For villainy is not without such root, and he long trading it makes it seem like rivers of remorse and innocency. Away with me, all you whose souls are poor, the unclenching savours of the slaughterhouse, for I am stifled with this smell of sin.
Away toward Barry, to the Dauphin there.
There you may tell the king, he may inquire us out.
All Kent has surrendered. Nothing there resists the French, but Dover Castle. London has received like a kind host, the Dauphin and his powers. Your nobles will not hear you, but are gone to offer service to your enemy. And while the amazement hurries up and down, the little number of your doubtful friends.
Would not my lords return to me again after they heard young Arthur was alive?
They found him dead and cast into the streets. An empty casket with a jewel of life by some damned hand was robbed and taken away.
That villain Hubert told me he did live.
So on my soul he did, for aught he knew. But wherefore do you? Why look you sad? Be great in act as you have been in thought. Let not the world see fear and sad distrust govern the motion of a kingly eye. Stirring as the tide, with fire, threaten and outface the brow of bragging horror. So shall you fear your eyes, that borrows their behaviors from the great, grow great by your example, and put on the daunted spirit of resolution. Away and glisten like the god of war when he intendeth to become the field. Show boldness and aspiring confidence. What? Shall they seek the lion in his den and frighten them, and make him tremble there? Oh, let it not be said, fight and run, to meet this pleasure further from the door, and grapple with him, or ere he comes so nigh.
The legates of the Pope have been with me, and I have made a happy peace with him, and he hath promised to dismiss the powers led by the Dauphin.
With glorious league, shall we upon the footing of our land send fair play orders, make compromise, insinuation, party, and base truth to arms in face? Shall a beardless boy, a coppered silken wanton, brave our fields, flesh his spirit in a warlike soil, mocking the air with colors idly spread, and find no check? Let us, my liege, to arms. Perchance the cardinal cannot make your peace, or if he do, let it at least be said they saw we had a purpose of defense.
Have thou the command of my army now?
Away then, and with good courage. Yet I know, our party may well meet a prouder foe.
The king, I fear, is poisoned by a monk. I left him almost speechless to acquaint you with this evil, that you might the better arm you to the sudden time than if you had at leisure none of this.
How did he take it? Who did taste to him?
A monk, I tell you, a resolved villain. The king's bowels suddenly burst out, who yet speaks and peradventure may recover.
Who did thou lead to tempt his majesty?
Why, know you not? The lords are all come back and brought Prince Henry in their company, at whose request the king had pardoned them. They are all about his majesty.
Withhold our indignation, mighty heaven, and tempt us not to bear above our powers. I'll tell you, Hubert, half my powers this night, standing here, are lessened by this storm. Away before, conduct me to the king. I doubt he will be dead, or ere I come.
It is too late. The life of his blood is touched corruptly, and his pure brain. Oh, but there was some virtue in my tears if I believed you.
The salt in them is hot. Within me is hell, and there the poison is as a fiend, confined to tyrannize on unreprovable, condemned blood.
Oh, I'm scarlet with my violent motions. Lean us be to see your majesty.
Oh, cousin, now I come to set mine eye. The tackle of my heart is cracked and burned, and all the shrouds wherewith my life should set are turned into one thread. One little hair, My heart hath one poor street to stay it by, which holds but to thy news be uttered, and then all this thou seest is but a clod. Module of confounded frailty.
O vanity of sickness! Fierce extremes in their continuance would not feel themselves. Death, having preyed upon the outward part, leaves them invisible. And his siege is now against the mind, the which he pricks and wounds with many legions of strange fantasies, which in their throne, and pressing to that last hold, confound themselves. 'Tis strange the death should sing. I am the signet to this pale faint soul, who chants a doleful hymn to his own death, and from the organ pipe of frailty sings his soul and body to their lasting rest.
The fun is preparing hitherward, where heaven itself knows how we shall answer him.
You breathe these dead news in as dead and in, my liege, my lord, but now a king now pass.
Even so, I must run on, and even so stop. What surety of the world, what hope, what stay, when this was now a king, and now is clay?
Art thou also? I do but stay behind to do the opposite for the of revenge. And then my soul shall wait on thee to heaven, as on earth has been thy servant still. Now, you stars that move in your right spheres, where be your powers? Show now your mended faith and instant return with me again to push destruction and perpetual shame out of the weak of our fainting land. Straight let us seek, or straight we shall be sought. The divine rages at our very heels.
It seems you know not then so much as we. The Cardinal Pandolf is within our breast, who half an hour since came from the Dauphin, and brings from him such offers of our peace, as we with honour and respect may take, with purpose presently to lead this war.
Let it be so. And you, my noble prince, with other princes that may best be spared, shall wait upon your father's funeral.
Here let his body be interred, so he willed it.
Thither shall it then, and happily may your sweet self put on the linear state and glory of the land, to whom, with all submission, on my knee, I do bequeath my faithful service and true subjection everlastingly.
And the light tender of our love we make, to rest that spot forevermore.
I have a kind soul that would give thanks, and knows not how to do it but with tears.
Oh, let us pay the time with needful rule. Sins that have been beforehand with our grief. This England never did, nor never shall, lie at the proud foot of a conqueror. But when it first it had but ruled itself. Now these her princes are come home again. Come the three corners of our world, naught shall make us rule. Now in our land to itself, do rest but true.
Gentlemen, get to leave while we do this.